Rebecca, that was a great panel. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So, what are your thoughts for our audience in terms of sort of key takeaway?
I think the key takeaway is stay open-minded, stay engaged, contact us with questions. There's a lot in this NPRM, and we really want it to be as accessible as possible. To be thorough, we need to be long and complex, but to be effective, we really need to keep it simple and attainable. And so, to the extent there are any questions, we don't want anyone to feel shy about coming to us and seeking to understand what we're trying to do.
Yeah. So, a couple of things that we learned today. One thing really important for broadcasters. There are not going to be, in terms of the repack, there isn't going to be a physical relocation unless that's consensual among the broadcasters. Truly, that's correct.
Yeah, we don't anticipate anyone moving geographically except for channel sharing partners. In that scenario, since one station is going to be moving onto the tower of another station, then there is going to be a geographic move involved in that. But that will be negotiated within the parameters that we end up putting in our report.
Yeah, and then in terms of how this is going to be conducted, in terms of whether it's going to be sequential, simultaneous. You guys, I realize you're taking comments, but are you sort of, what I'm getting is you're kind of leaning towards the simultaneous reverse forward repack at the same time.
Well, that is what our auction experts proposed in what is Exhibit 3 to our NPRM. As I mentioned on the panel, there are trade-offs to whether or not you go sequentially or simultaneously. If you go sequentially, then you might be able to fine-tune the repack, but it's going to take much more time. And we don't want broadcasters who are participating to be in limbo for very long, because that's pretty detrimental to the operations of their business. If we do it simultaneously, that requires a lot more computation, quantification in a compressed period of time, which is challenging for us internally. But it makes the auction go more quickly.
Yep.
So those are the trade-offs.
And if you do it sequentially, do you also sort of run the risk of basically the commission, in a sense, is buying spectrum on spec? And ultimately, you don't have to ultimately sell it if the market doesn't come together. But basically, sort of in terms of what bids you'll be taking, you don't really know what the demand is if you're doing it sequentially.
Well, we can't accept any bids until there is a matching demand bid on the other side.
And that's going to be market by market as opposed to some nationwide.
Yes, we plan on auctioning the spectrum off in some, not necessarily regional blocks, but large blocks that the wireless industry is accustomed to. Whether or not those are EAs, we tee that up, but they are going to be larger than the television market sizes. Yeah.
You're figuring that out?
Yeah, I mean, if we were accepting and licensing out the same good, then that would be an appropriate analogy. But we're not. We're taking in 6 megahertz blocks. We're transforming them. We're moving them to the upper part of the band or in the middle of the band, depending on whether or not you're talking about uplink or downlink. So that it's not a perfect analogy, but compared to any auction that we've ever done, it's getting close.
Good. And then lastly, we talked a little bit about the anti-collusion rules and sort of how that's going to develop. Can you give us just a kind of quick takeaway on that?
I guess the quick takeaway is obviously we don't want any communication among potential auction participants to harm or distort the outcome of the auction. That's what we want to avoid, and that's traditionally what we've avoided in the forward auction context. But what we do want is for there to be enough communication for broadcasters to feel comfortable going in with a channel sharing bid, to feel comfortable with their partner, who they are, what kind of programming they carry, the financial arrangement they have, the operational arrangement they have. And we are not in a position to do that. It's not our role to do that. So for this to be successful, we do believe there needs to be some amount of business communication. Again, where that line is, it can't affect the outcome of the auction. And we're working through finding exactly where that line should be.
Yeah, so that's clearly good. Well, a lot of open issues. That's one open issue we could hear about.
Yes. Well,
so, great. Rebecca Hanson, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Really enjoyed it. Thanks.